Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. This is the end. Almost, not quite. Before we all say goodbye, I'd like you all to give a huge round of applause to our president, Nannette LaFond-Dufour, who will be joining us for some final words. Nannette, over to you. And please, another big round of applause, because it was quite something to put this forum all together, right?
All right, well, hello again, everyone. And I'm listening to my gut, and it's telling me I'm very happy and very energized and deeply grateful for all of the insights and all of the positive, concrete solutions that we have heard in the last 2 days. You know, and we have talked about the power of sport, the power of culture, the power of media, the power of education to really unite minds, to unite people, and to empower women. But before I close and share a few reflections, I would like to invite Anne-Gabrielle Heilbronner, who is the former president of the Women's Forum, to come up here and share a few of her reflections. Anne-Gabrielle?
Hi everyone, merci Nannette. It's a great pleasure to be here tonight with Nannette to close together this edition of the Women's Forum. You know, I've been the president of the Women's Forum for 7 years. Nannette has now started, and she's an amazing talent to write a new page in the Women's Forum history. Because it was 7 years, I thought that I could share with you 7 thoughts, but I try to be brief. First thing is, it feels really great to see how the Women's Forum is being built by this succession of presidents. Each of us has been bringing a personal touch, visible or invisible, to the fight for gender equality. And second, there is something very special about the Women's Forum that I have found nowhere else. You know, this gathering of the most impressive and resilient women on earth, where you learn a lot and you start reflecting on yourself and on the organization you work with. It's a place where you make new friends, you discover new talent, you meet new business partners. A place where women are so energized that they find the strength and ambition to pursue their careers. It's a place where emotion is authorized, where you can smile, laugh, or cry. I am very proud for all what has been accomplished and very grateful with the team who has worked with me in building this more ambitious Women's Forum, focusing on measurement and extending the scope of our community and work far beyond the business and corporate world, to tackle gender equality holistically in society, diplomacy, conflicts, and of course, technology and the economy. And I am convinced that this is the right approach. We must assess figures and perception, as we are doing in the Women's Forum Barometer that we created after COVID. And we cannot just work on women in business and forget about their health, their reproductive rights, their security outside of the workplace. How could a woman find the physical and mental strength to succeed in any job if she cannot study, take care of her own health, save money for her retirement, or worse, if she is a victim of violence, rape, or war crimes? And we have worked on these difficult topics. We have sent recommendations to the G7, worked on Ukraine and Iran, intensified our work on violences against women after conflicts and after October 7th. We have spoken at the United Nations about the actions that should be taken to put an end to the use of sexual violence as a weapon of war. And let's face reality. Women's rights are severely in danger in some countries. Millions of women, you know, are deprived from their elementary rights, from the right to security, health, and education. In Afghanistan, in Iran, and so many other countries. And even here, in developed countries and mature democracy, in 2024, the fight for women's equality remains a priority, even if some people tend to diminish its importance, because some believe that equality is achieved when they see women being appointed CEO, head of state, head of government. But unfortunately, they are wrong. Inequalities are high, increasing sometimes, and outdated stereotypes still very present, including among youth. And working with Youth Critical, you've seen it, we have included more and more youth initiatives in our program. Now, I want to thank the gentlemen that are in this room, because men are allies. What we are fighting for is an inclusive economy and society, with men and women having equal rights and equal opportunities. After 7 years as president of the Women's Forum, I believe this is an area on which there is much more to do. Men shouldn't feel threatened by the fact that women want an equal share of responsibilities and a say in their own lives. Men and women should work together to reinvent masculinity in a positive way. Finally, all of this starts with you, with each of you, and with each of us. This is not what we want, of course, this is what we do often. We encourage biases through our own attitude. So here is my suggestion. Each of us, let's take a moment each day to help a woman somewhere. And the good news is, for the ladies in the room, this woman can be you. Yes, just take a moment for you. It's okay. You could start by recognizing your talent and your potential, by defining who you are and what you want to achieve without anyone else telling you. You could start by never, ever diminishing yourself or your role and get rid of this feeling of imposter syndrome. Voila. These were a couple of thoughts. Thank you. Thank you. I just want, before I leave the floor to Nannette, to thank the team, to thank you for your loyalty to the Women's Forum, and to thank the team, Mathieu, Sophie, Philippine, Laetitia, Noémie, Leila, and tell you that I am very confident with the journey ahead with Nannette will be bright. Thank you, Nannette.
Thank you, Anne-Gabrielle. Thank you, Anne-Gabrielle. Thank you very much for your legacy and for your words and thoughts about this. And again, I would love to echo that, thank you to the men who are here, because I've been saying these last couple of days, and many of you have heard me say it, this is not an organization of women for women. This is an organization of people who want a better society, and that's what we're here for. So, in closing, I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts. We have journeyed, really, these last 2 days. It's only been 2 days. It feels a little bit longer. From the macro level, sort of discussions around geopolitics and diplomacy and international relations, to much more intimate reflections about personal healing and reconciliation. We've gone from global to personal. We've gone from the outer world to the inner world. And about reconciling things within ourselves. So to Anne-Gabrielle's point, I think it's very important for us to take those moments and think about those who we are and what we want to achieve. And we've even talked about reconciling with our dreams, which is critically important, because reconciliation in all of its forms requires us to bridge divides. It requires us to rebuild dialogue at every level, whether it's in our countries, in our workplaces, workplaces, in our communities, in our homes, or again, even within ourselves. And we've been reminded, I think, in these last 2 days that reconciliation is not just a political process. Yes, it is a political process, but it is deeply personal. And it is about empathy, it is about healing, it is about a commitment to justice and to equality. And it's why we incorporated artistic performances, music and dance and poetry, because it's not just about reconciling things with your mind, it's about reconciling things with your heart and with your feelings. And we've heard from students and entrepreneurs and activists and athletes, all offering a unique perspective to the broader movement toward justice and inclusion. Because every voice and every contribution is a piece of the puzzle. It's a piece of the magic that we can build together using reconciliation as a guide. And this forum has been, for me, much more than a place of conversation. It's really been a veritable factory for action, a laboratory for action. It's about the ideas that we have here that allow us to plant the seeds of change for a tomorrow that will be much richer and much more fulfilling. We've heard and learned from leaders of peace and survivors of war, from Afghanistan, from Syria, from South Africa. We've heard from indigenous leaders, from Chad and Sudan and Australia. And Jane Goodall's incredibly powerful story that an eagle can only fly because it has two equal wings, one masculine and one feminine. And that's the only reason it can fly, is when equality exists between those wings, I think is an incredible metaphor for what we are trying to do here and the importance of gender equality in achieving our full human potential. And yet, and you know this is true, we still have profound inequalities. We still have tremendous work to do. Women are still paid, on average, approximately 20% less than their male counterparts for the same workload. Only 1/3 of leading positions are occupied by women, and only 19% of the delegates at COP are led by women, despite the fact that women are on the front lines of the climate crisis. So our work here is definitely not done. Much has been achieved, but there's so much more to do. And we will continue to challenge stereotypes, and we will continue to reshape the narratives, to open opportunities for all women across all sectors. And in order to do that, we shouldn't ask permission, but claim our rightful place in the name of equality. We shouldn't feel guilty, but we should take ownership of our own value. We mustn't give up. We need to speak up for ourselves, we need to speak up for other women, and we need to speak up for equality relentlessly. And that takes daring, and we talked a lot about daring, and it takes courage. And courage is a theme that has come up over and over again in this conference. And it's difficult to have courage, but we must, because reconciliation requires immense bravery. Because it means confronting difficult truths. It means having the really hard conversations. And it means engaging in dialogue when it's super, super challenging. Courage is what will allow us to move forward. Because reconciliation is both about unity and peace, but is also about the courage to act. So let us continue to be brave, and let us move toward a better, more beautiful power by using that courage. You already carry it within you. So I ask you, when you leave here, to take it into all spheres of your world so that we can create a better tomorrow. But before sending you off, I am going to ask you to indulge me for 3 more minutes, because I must express my deepest gratitude to so many people. The first one is Charlotte Kahn. I mean, incredible. incredible moderating with energy and grace in even the most difficult subjects, and that demonstrates courage, so thank you for that. Oh, that's me, sorry, I'm clapping too loud. I would also like to thank our speakers for their incredibly inspiring stories and the insights that they shared, because again, it takes courage to get up here and talk about some of these things. So thank you, speakers, any of you that are still here with us. To our partners, without whom any of this is possible, we deeply appreciate your trust, so thank you. To you, the participants who have chosen to spend 2 days out of your inevitably very, very busy schedules to discuss these issues, I want to thank you for your personal commitment to a future that is more just and equal, and I'd like to make sure that you retain the connections that you made, and I know you made them because I saw it yesterday, and I saw it again this morning. The connections that you have made in the last 2 days, reach out to them next week, reach out to them next month, because, as I keep saying, it takes all of us together. We are stronger together, we are better together, and so we need to stand united. We need to be a collective to really address the issues of inequality. And finally, I would like to thank my team because, boy, talk about a great team pulling all of this together. So if you would please come on stage, dear team. Thank you. Have a good rest of your evening and